So are you checking that we've got everything, that the tablet stand is where it should be? I don't think it is actually, Ollie, and you're certainly not where you should be. So you're going to have a rest, are you? Just where I'm going to work. I think you and me need to have a discussion about that. I think we do, yes. I'm going to go and get my project, and then I think you're going to have to move. But I'm sure everybody's really pleased to see that you're still taking your job as director very, very seriously. Well, kind of seriously. Hi there, it's Anniversaries Duck Designs here. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. I wanted to share with you a project that I've been working on over the past week, and unlike my usual tutorials, the project is actually finished. It was a card, or is a card, that a friend asked me to make for her in-laws' 60th wedding anniversary, which is later on this week. So I really didn't want to take the chance of trying to do it on camera, and as we all know, that I'm very capable of making a mistake and messing things up. So I thought the next best thing was just to finish the project in a calm environment and then just share the finished card with you, hopefully just to give you some ideas of how I've used different Stampin' Up products. It's fair to say that 60th wedding anniversaries don't come around that often, so it's not necessarily a card that you're going to want to make for a 60th anniversary. However, the colour scheme would work really well for even a pearl wedding anniversary, engagement, wedding. So I thought you could maybe just take some of the elements from it and use them in your own cards that you want to make. So I've had to sort of make this box for it because it wouldn't fit in an envelope. So the designer series paper that I've used is from a while ago. I can't remember, if I'm honest, which the name of it, but it had these sort of pretty hearts on it, so I thought we'd go with that. So that's the lid, and the base I've used just a 12 by 12 sheet of the Whisper White, or would be now Basic White card. That is the actual card. I'm going to tie the box up using the white tulle polka dot ribbon, and we're going to revisit the hearts that I've put on the front. I'll share those with you as I talk you through the card. There we go. Let's put that out the way. The cat has moved, and I'm hoping he stays where he is, because I desperately want to get through this without any accidents with this card. So there we are, there's the card, there's the front of it, there's the inside. I'm just going to stand up to make sure that you can actually see it, and that is the bit where they're going to write their messages. When she asked me to do the card and said it was for a diamond wedding anniversary, I was a little bit thrown as to what colour to use, because obviously diamonds are quite colourless. Obviously I immediately thought about I would need a full pack of basic rhinestones, but I really wasn't sure what to do with the colour. It's so much easier if it's silver, gold, ruby. You've got a colour theme to start with. So my first thought was that I would use this new speciality paper that we have in the mini catalogue, and that is in the Sand and Sea suite, and it's this pearl effect. I can't say this word. It's a pearl effect speciality paper. Anyway, so it's got a really nice sheen on it, but it's slightly sort of creamy coloured. So I thought, well, it's not necessarily going to work going straight onto white. So then I thought about the foils that are in the Love You Always suite, and there's a selection of 3 different colours: Sahara Sand, Rococo Rose and Blushing Bride. Now I have to be honest, Blushing Bride, Rococo Rose are very me, and when I bought the foils, I must admit I thought I'm probably never going to use the Sahara Sand because there's nothing wrong with the colour, but it probably isn't me, if I'm honest. So what I've learned from this project is that sometimes it's really good to take yourself out of your comfort zone and use colours that you wouldn't normally do, because that's where I finished up. So I've got the base card, or the top layer on the, or the first layer, let's try this again. The first layer on the card is Sahara Sand, and the inside of the card is Sahara Sand and Sahara Sand here. I've then thought about, what am I going to stamp the sentiments in? And again, what colour do you use for pearl? I mean, you could use white, but that's not really going to show up that well. My friend, happened to mention that she is going to get some silver balloons. Unfortunately, at the moment, we are obviously still in a lockdown situation, so her poor in-laws will be celebrating their 60th anniversary on their own. However, she's arranging for some balloons to be delivered and obviously a gift, but she did mention that she was sending silver balloons, so I thought, right, I will do the sentiments in silver. So I've got the happy anniversary sentiment from the Many Mates stamp set, and I've then gone with the congratulations again. That is heat embossed with silver, and that comes from the Well Said stamp set. So very minimal stamping in this. So I then thought, well, I'm using silver here, how can I almost tie that in, so I'm making a little bit more of the silver element. So I decided to use a piece of the Speciality acetate from the Fine Art Floral suite. Now there's 3 different designs, there's 3 pieces of acetate, and there are 3 different designs, and this is one of them. And on this particular acetate, you've got one side is silver, flip it over and you've got one side of gold. So you've got 2 choices of how you, or what colour you can use. I obviously went with the silver, and I've got this layer down here just to build it up and make it a little bit more interesting. I've then gone with the foil, the Sahara Sand foil from the Love You Always foils. Then I've cut out from the pearl paper. I'm not going down that road again. The pearl paper, you know what I'm talking about. I've used the Playful Alphabet dies, which are absolutely brilliant for cutting out not only the initials but also the numbers. So I've used those on the box, and I've used it here for Mum and Dad. She didn't specify any colours, but she did say that she wanted Mum and Dad on the front, so I've used those, and hence, because it was too wide, the Mum and Dad would be too wide for a portrait style, which is where I was going with in the first place. It's finished up as a landscape, which I think has actually worked quite well, so I'm quite happy with that. So I've literally stuck on the back of a piece of paper, I've stuck one of the adhesive sheets before I've then cut them out. I run it through my Big Shot machine, so that then literally you can just peel off the back of the initials and then just attach them to the foil. There's actually 2 products that I've used that are not current. However, one of them you can still get on the clearance rack, but the one that you can no longer get, unfortunately, is the large number die cuts or dies that we had some probably about 2 years ago now. I must admit, I keep hoping with every new catalogue we will get something similar back. We have got, as I say, these at the moment, and you could always utilise that and sort of just um, build up the 60 by putting some layers under it. But as I say, this was more a personal card, so therefore I've sort of dragged out my dies that I do occasionally when I need big initials, with the large letter dies that we no longer have, or the number dies. So ignoring that, unfortunately we can't get those anymore. Um, but there's always, if you're looking for numbers, I'm sure there's other numbers that you can get your hands on. So with that, obviously, I'm now thinking about it being a diamond anniversary, and I've picked out around the outline of the two numbers. I've used the basic rhinestones. I've layered this up using my ever faithful layering oval. So I've got the crinkled edge one here in the pearl paper. I've got the a straight edged die I've used, slightly smaller, cut that out of the foil, and then finally a smaller still crinkle edged die just with the happy anniversary, again picked out with diamonds. It goes without saying there had to be quite a few diamonds on it. There is no ink of Stella. I kind of thought the paper did the job, and the diamonds, there was enough bling going on. A little added touch, I've just cut out a couple of little butterflies using the butterfly punch. So it's a small butterfly that I've used. I've used my what's the word? I can't think what the word is. Gone. I've bent back the wings of the butterfly so it just looks like it's flying, and then put a little diamante rhinestone in the middle. I've got a selection of flowers here. Three main ones are the medium daisy, so it's this punch, and I've used that in conjunction with the Daisy Lane stamp set. And I have literally, you won't see it on camera, I'm sure, but I did literally stamp that onto the pearl paper using some Sahara sand ink, just so that if you get up close to those daisies you can actually see the detail of the flower. But it is very, very subtle, and each daisy I've cut 4. So I've stamped 4 daisies and I've cut them out, or punched them out with the punch, and then I've just curled the flowers up on 3 of them and down on 1 of them, and I've layered it so that my first flower is with the petals coming up, the second flower is with the petals going down, and the third and fourth are both with the flowers coming up. I've then stuck the bottom 2 together and the top 2 together, and then in the middle of that I've stuck the 2 lots of 2 together using a mini stamping dimensional. I should, with hindsight, I should have probably just cut 4 random daisies out just to go through exactly what I meant. So I may well just put a little rider on the end of the video just to hopefully make that a little bit clearer. So I've done that 4 times, and then that was my aim. I was just going to have those 3, but it kind of needed a bit more, so I got out my little small bloom punch, and I literally don't have a stamp that works with that, so I literally just cut out 6 of those, and again I've just bent up the leaves on both, on each set of 2, and I've stuck the 2 together, and then put a little diamond in the middle of that, and then they're just arranged obviously round the corner, and I've stuck them all on using stamping dimensional, so minis for these 3 and a larger one for these 3, just so that it's being raised off of the card. So moving on to the inside, I've used, and this is again not a current product, but it is still on the clearance rack. So I've used these hearts. Now the hearts come in real red or flirty flamingo and flirty flamingo, and they're the little heart doilies, and currently they are £2, and there's 40 in the pack, and these are absolutely brilliant, fabulous for engagement cards, wedding cards, anniversary cards. Now I've used the red one on there, but when you flip it over it's obviously white, and it makes a really pretty lacy background, just to use to then add another heart on top of it. So I've used the white side of the doilies, and then using the plain edged heart from the heart punch pack, I've cut 2 hearts out from the Sahara sand foil, and then I've just stuck those on top of the white doilies, and then I've obviously then stuck that down onto the that layer of Sahara sand. Now she wanted the initials of the couple put on there, so again I've cut that out with using the pearl paper and the playful alphabet dies. Again I've put some adhesive sheet on the back so that they stick down very easily. The 60 is again cut out using the large number dies. Just moving on to here, the little hearts again cut out with or from the Sahara sand foil, and I've used my dog punch. I've said this before, I don't use the dog very much, but the number of times I've used that heart, you know, it's well worth what I paid for that punch, because it's absolutely brilliant. So I've put 4 little hearts at the bottom here. We'll send this off without the cat hairs. Again, I've put some adhesive sheet at the back of that before I've cut them out, so that I can then just stick them onto the card with ease. And that is basically the card. A couple of little things that I learnt and have learnt to my cost at times, that foil is lovely, very pretty to work with, and hopefully the end result is good, but if you're running it through a die cutting machine, if your plates are slightly marked, and mine are very marked I have to say, but even if there's a slight indentation on there, you can find that you're damaging your foil. Now the way round that is to, if it's a small die cut like this, before you run it through your machine, just cover over your piece of foil using a post-it note. Don't stick the sticky bit onto the actual plate. So if we can imagine, I'll apologise in advance for the state of my plates. Imagining this was my piece of foil, I don't want to put the sticky bit across here, because you can then take some of the glue, and we're not trying to hold this in place, we're just trying to protect it. So if you've got your foil there, then stick the post-it note over the top of it before you then run it through your Big Shot. That way you will protect your foil. When it's a larger piece and you're working with a larger piece of foil, then just cover it with a random piece of card before you do anything with it, before you run it through any die cutting machine. It will still cut, but it will protect your foil, because it is, as I say, it will very easily mark. So treat it with care, is where I'm going with that. So that is basically it. So as I say, I hope that you will get a bit of an idea of how some of these projects can be used, products can be used, and just to sort of see how these colours go together, and that paper, I mean, it works really well obviously in the suite that it's been designed for, but actually taking it away from that, I can see how that's going to work really, really well, especially moving forward when hopefully we're getting back to a certain amount of normality and weddings can start going ahead, that sort of thing. So who knows, I think it is a really pretty paper for moving forward for celebratory cards. So that's it. I've not given you any measurements. A couple of things actually, yes, I did want to say. This obviously is not my normal size of card, and I've made that using almost a full sheet of the A4 thick white card. If you're looking for a bigger card, we do have the 12 by 12 white card, so you are limited to folding it in half, so 6 inches, but you've got up to 12 inches, so you can either then make a larger portrait card or a larger landscape card. So again, oh, sorry, and you get like a roller coaster ride thrown in for free. So yes, I think that is it. I've not, as I said, I was about to say, giving you measurements. I'm going to just make a blog post, or do a blog post based on this. So I'll put the link for that on the front of the video, and the blog post will have measurements, and it will also have a list of the products that I've used. So I will be back with one of my normal tutorials next. Not quite sure what that will be. I think it may well be the Hey Chick bundle with my very cute chickens and the dies. But I will be back very soon to share something else with you. In the meantime, thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, that would be amazing. And I will see you again soon. I will actually add now a little extra detail about the daisy. Own folder, that was the word I was looking for. It came to me just after I pressed the off switch. So I've used, as I did on the card, I'm using this smaller daisy out of the Daisy Lane stamp set. I've got my Sahara sand, and I'm literally just going to stamp. Now I'm using just some normal white card. I have to say that you only get 2 sheets of the pearl paper, so I couldn't really afford to waste that. Now that is obviously showing up a lot more on the white than it does on the pearl paper, but you just do get that would almost be too much, I think. On the pearl paper you get that really subtle design, but it's not too deep, because I have to say sort of brown is kind of a random colour for a daisy. So I'm literally going to just punch these out. Now, I'm not going to be too fussy. I would normally try and line them up properly, but it's not supposed to be a lesson on how to punch daisies out, really. But if you're new to punching or using punches, then use the punch. If you're trying to punch out an image, stamp your image and then attack it from this direction. That way you can line it up exactly where you want it. Push it down very gently. It sort of kind of just holds it. It's not cutting it, but it's just holding it in place. And gently release it, and then you can just move it where you want it. Having said, I'm not going to try and punch this out properly. It's kind of hard. Your mindset is very much on the lines of, I have to do this properly. There we go. Right, we will take our bone folder, the mystery tool that I couldn't think of. So I'm just literally just bending gently the leaves upwards. With the pearl paper, it's quite thin, so do please be careful with that. Now with this one, instead of coming upwards, I'm going to take it downwards. It's just to give the daisy a little bit more fullness in a sense, because I'm now going to put a tiny bit of glue in the middle of the bottom one, and what I'm then going to do is then interlock the leaves. So you've got some coming up and you've got some coming down. And I have to say, with the card, when you're using a card, you've actually got a little bit more movement on the, it's a bit thicker, so that sort of does give you a bit of fullness there. But I'm just trying to sort of wave one layer up and have one layer going down, and so when you've got it actually on the project, it's giving a bit more fullness at the bottom. With this one, I'm coming upwards, and I'm coming upwards with the petals on the fourth one. My glue is getting to a point where it's running out. So again, I need to interlock those petals. Trying not to pull one of the petals off. Not the desired effect. Now I've got a little mini stamping dimensional here. I'm going to put that in the middle of the bottom, or you can put it on the top and go downwards. Choice is yours, and then you just want to lay that now on the top. So we've just got more petals coming upwards, but by doing what we did with the bottom two, by just having some coming up and some going down, we're actually giving that daisy a bit more fullness when we put it onto our project. So that was what I was trying to explain with the daisy. Just while I'm here, this is the little small bloom punch, and again all I did was cut two of those out per flower, and again there's more. We'll go with three because that's just gone on the floor. There we go. But you do only need two per flower. There's more flexibility with the paper that I use. This is still quite thick, but it will still work, and all you'd want to do is just bend it up slightly. And you could put any type of rhinestone in the middle, or a sequin. So they're both coming upwards. Bit of glue in the middle, and again we're just going to put those, interlock them so that you've got a full flower, and then you've just got the little bit in the middle to put a sequin, or as I say, a rhinestone, and then you've got your little flower. So I hope that had made a bit more sense to me just trying to explain it. So thank you ever so much for joining me today. I will see you very soon. Until then, please look after yourselves, take care. Bye for now.